Good afternoon, people. Welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA video. I had a request on my YouTube channel not long ago to cover Kadena, which is KDA against USD on a weekly time frame we're looking here. So I'm going to dive into this project today and do some technical analysis for us here. You can see that from back in 2021 all the way up until November, so for a good few months, you had quite this insane parabolic run here for this project. Now, I don't know too much about this project myself. I haven't dug into it too much, so I'm specifically just going off charts and data here for this project. But you can see that from this massive run up, okay, that you had for a few months for the project last year, or sorry, 2 years ago now, you can see that since then, again, it's just been this downtrend with following the rest of the alts, you know, in the market at the moment. And for me, straight off the back, you've got this level of resistance here for KDA that, if you see broken, I think would be a very bullish sign here for the project, because you've been under this resistance for again for over a year and a half now, I would say, nearly. So again, you can see you failed to come short of that resistance there, but you eventually did come and wick it. You held this level of support here for Kadena for a very long time. So in May, you know, you coiled up in May, slowly caught back up to this trend line, and once you actually hit it, you can see that, you know, you had quite a long consolidation period. So when you get these long consolidation periods, depending on which way you break from the trend, you do tend to crash quite. You know, you would have broke out quite violently here if you broke out too, but you do tend to crash or have some sort of sharp leg down the longer you consolidate before a breakout. So you can see that from that loss of support, Kadena actually fell from that loss of support. It fell around 37 to 40% before it started to get this relief rally here off of this current local low that the project is holding, which sits at around it's about 79 cents roughly. Yeah, just roughly of 79 cents. And you can see that from this low, you've come back up into this resistance once more. You've been hitting your head on it, okay, and you continuously hit your head on it. So I think it's going to make a decision here and decide, you know, if it does start to break through here, fantastic. Okay, you hold this as support and start to break out of previous resistance. Again, this is going to be very strong resistance above, because you was holding this for quite a while, and now that you've lost it, potentially if you do break out, you're going to run back into that and turn it into, sorry, this was previous support for a long time, and now that you've lost support, you could go run back into this area and turn it into resistance. And again, at that point, we'd have to monitor in time, looking at the project a bit further down the line. But again, I would be cautious, just because you are at this point in contact where every time you have met it in this downtrend, in this bear market, you have been rejected and put in lower lows each time you do get rejected from it. So you can see here again, you held this multi-month support. As soon as you hit the trend line, you crashed. Right now, you've rallied up, you're falling down. You are putting in some sort of higher low at the moment, but it's whether this sustains. So if we zoom in a little here for the project, and you can see that off of this low, tying up to this week where you're getting this bounce, you are putting in some sort of higher low, which is bullish, okay. But to get this confirmation, you do need to see the break of this trend line. You do need to see yourself get back above this previous support, as I keep saying, this previous support that potentially you would be turning into resistance. So you do need to get back above this key price of around $1.30 before we can get excited here. As I said, it would be great if it did break this this over a year long line of resistance. If it did manage to break through that, I do think you would then see this relief rally up towards this point of previous support, and that's where you could potentially turn it into resistance. And it's all about holding this local low. If Kadena if it does start to do something like this and get rejected by this trend line, lose this support line that it's currently holding, and again keep running into this trend line, then you can expect just more downside and literally just running into it until the bear market cools off. So it's very hard to time where the lows actually are, and I don't think it's a good thing to do that. If you are looking to get involved in projects like this, you know, you can see that they are down at very low levels again, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't still go down further from where they are and drop another 40-50%, because that's a possibility. So what I'm going to look at here for us first are the bearish targets. So because we've had this high and we've been rejected at this trend line, we're going from that high retracing to this low here. So my downside targets for the project, if you fail to get back above, again, this 0.618 is acting as strong resistance right now. So unless you fail to get back above this golden pocket and close this week out above 90 to 94 cents, potentially if you do retrace and get rejected back to this low and lose it, my minimum targets would be the 1272 to the 1618. at the overextension there, which sits at 62 cents. So potentially you get rejected at this point, do start to come down and eventually meet that target over a certain period of time. But again, you are putting in higher lows currently speaking, and we just have to see this trend line broken. We need to see the close above 90 cents. Okay, so my downside targets, if this low is lost here and we don't break out above this trend line and this resistance point, my targets to the downside would be 71 to 62 cents between the 1272 and the 1618. Now the bullish targets, if this is the low for Kadena, what we could look at here is potentially a retracement back up to retracing from this low up to this high. If you did start to come up here, holding this high low, start to get back above these levels, hold these as support, I think you'd be looking for a retracement back to this one fib at $1.48. Now if you do see that broken, okay, one bullish sign is you would have broken out of this multi-year downwards trend line of resistance. Okay, that would be a very bullish thing. But at the same time, this previous area of support is going to act as very strong resistance. So if you do start to work your way up here and manage to get to this point, I would expect at this point a pullback. Okay, but that could provide an opportunity from current price if you was to retrace to that one fib of around 61%. But you do have key levels of resistance in front of you. Okay, so we need to close above 90 cents, around 92 cents this week to get some confirmation that this is a higher low and you're looking to attack these areas again. Until you start seeing yourself close above this golden pocket here, okay, the 0618 and the 050, we can't be that bullish. Okay, we have to see ourselves break through that. That is key resistance moving forward, and you can see it's where Kadena met resistance last at around the $1 mark. So we do need to see ourselves slowly creeping up here, potentially forming some sort of ascending triangle, higher lows, coil up, and once you break through this period, you've got that long opportunity up to this $1.48, which is previous support, and you would turn that to resistance, as I said, and potentially come back from that point there. So that's the bullish scenario, forming higher lows on the weekly time frame. You've got this low, you've got this low. All you need to do is potentially come up, pull back for a higher low, and as I said, get higher lows, squeeze into this corner. You form some sort of ascending triangle. If the breakout occurs and you get back above $1, okay, and hold this as support, you could be looking to go long up to $1.48. If that gets broken, okay, then these are my future targets moving forward off of this low as long as it holds, and you'd be looking at $2.19, which brings you back up to this resistance point which you met before you had this larger crash down and this large wave. Okay, so I've given you both scenarios there, guys, for the bullish and bearish scenarios. Key points to look out for are closing above 92 cents and breaking out of that downwards trend line we had on the first at the start of the video. Also, we have to see the close above $1 and previous resistance to confirm that we are getting some sort of breakout here with higher lows, ascending triangle, as I said, and you're looking to push up to this $1.48 again. The bearish scenario, you could be retracing to that 1618 target that we had down here. I think... Let me just get that back on for us. I'm going to get another fib on. It's going to look a bit confusing. The 16186 at around 62 cents. And that would be the ultimate sort of retracement, I think, that you'd push for. Now, you can see that if you did come down to that 1618 area, you'd be looking at meeting these previous resistance points that you had before you had this sharp V-shaped recovery. It's very tricky on the more zoomed out perspective of this project. It's very tricky to sort of look at potentially where you could find a low, because this sort of area was literally a crash and a V-shaped recovery and the project was off. So there hasn't been much support for this project to hold. You know, there was a little bit around this area here of support, but you know, there hasn't been much backtest of any sort of support before breaking out. It literally took off to the moon. So it's very hard to kind of predict where potentially it may find support and bottom out before it takes off. But anyway, guys, I've given you both the predictions there for bullish and bearish scenarios. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe. From Chart Nerd TA, take care. Peace out.